ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमेन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om. May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, mind, all the sensory and motor organs become strong and perfected. All is verily the one without second, ever perfect, ever blissful existence itself. Let me never deny this truth of oneness of existence. May this truth of oneness may never reject me either. May all the virtues necessary to experience this truth be with me. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us feel we are all little ice cubes. Everything that we see, all names, forms, they are all ice cubes. They are melting. I am melting as body and mind, as name and form. I am losing my individuality. I am merging with the universal, one without second existence. I can now feel the unspeakable bliss of this oneness. Herein there is nothing unknown. All doubts are dissolved. all is peace. Reaching this state of awareness, nothing further remains to be achieved. This is the goal. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So let us begin. This is the 9th class of this Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad. Let us begin with our usual prayers. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we attain strength together. May our study make us illumined. May there be no dislike between us. Om. Peace, peace, peace. This first chapter of Svetasvatara Upanishad brings before us the truth, knowing which everything becomes known, all doubts are put to rest, life becomes illumined life, happy life, peaceful life. Not in a worldly sense of well-being, that okay, I have a good job and I am doing fairly okay, my health is not too bad, and then the things are as such quite normal. So that is a sense of, worldly sort of peace and a sense of being okay, and that it is there is a book in old times, that book had attained lot of popularity. I am okay, you are okay. Who is the author? Do you remember? Uh, uh, uh? Peck? No, no, no. Yeah, anyway, yeah. So, it is. So that is a sort of, a a social defense mechanism that, okay, I am okay, fine, and you are okay, that's good too. Let us not disturb okayness of each other. So it is another modern version of live and let live. So I am okay, you are okay. So, uh, but this is not that kind of social sense of peace, but it is an internal peace. In people, you see, if you ask them, hey, how are you? I'm fine. But that is only superficial. If you scratch a little bit, then you see all the worries, all the woes, they come out. It is because although we put up a show of superficially being fine, yet internally as human beings we have many doubts. There are the existential issues, there are also the issues about our meaning to life. What is the meaning of living in this manner? All these things we see coming up, and these things are being addressed when these questions become paramount in somebody's life. Then that person becomes ready to deeply investigate the answers to that. That is the primary condition for spiritual illumination. A desire, strong desire to get liberated from all these bondage of being, bondage of body. I am bound by body. It's a big bondage. I am bound by time and space and these perceptions around. That's a big bondage. I want to get freed from all these bondages. This is a special desire that wakes up. It is called mumuksha in Sanskrit. And they moktumicha mumuksha. To get liberated is a very special desire, ultimate liberation. Normally the desires are bhoktumicha, bubhuksha, means to grab many things around, enjoy them and so forth. Let me run after this, then after grabbing that, I feel, oh, why did I grab this? I put it down, I run after something else, and then that kind of desire to keep on running after sense enjoyments, that is called bubhuksha. It is opposite to mumuksha. And this is the bubhuksha, the desire to have sense enjoyments. This is a commonly seen desire. That is what makes people run about and get more and more entangled. It is whatever you catch for enjoyment, we are not aware, but it binds us. The more we run after it, the more becomes this bondage powerful and difficult to break through. So then a thought comes that there is some problem with this idea of running after different sense enjoyments. You start pondering very deeply about it, that I want freedom. And what is this cause of all this? Where all this comes from? What is the meaning of this I, which keeps on shifting and changing? It is sometimes I feel I am body, sometimes I feel I am mind. And what is my connection with this world? Who decides all that goes on here? There is this governor, God. Must be somewhere, I don't know. Let me name the place that he or she or whatever stays as heaven, and then try to find out a way to go and meet him and get the solutions from that whosoever is. Now, when these questions come to a level where you are really earnest about the solution, you are yearning for it. That yearning is described as if you see that if a person is head is pressed under water, then the person yearns for a little breath. So that kind of yearning. These days somebody told, if you know your smartphone is missing, it is lost, then that kind of yearning that you get for getting back your phone, you start looking for here and there, everywhere, and then you, when you find, you feel relieved. So that kind of yearning when you get for God, then there is the progress begins. You start seeing the answer through the process what is called meditation, where you look for your true essence, dhyana yoga nugata pashyan, that you, when you meditate, you discover that you are not the body. A very big step, friends. A very big step. It is easy to understand, but to hold on to that understanding is difficult because we are not used to it. So, practice of meditation makes us aware of this, that yes, I am not this body. I am not anything that is changing. And you then discover that it is all a superimposition. This multiplicity that was appearing is a superimposition. There is only one without second, absolute existence itself that transcends the limits of time and space. And then with that illumination, all these problems, they dissolve as it were. So this first chapter is to bring this understanding, and for this analysis of it, it is shown, we saw this verse last time, that you see the two separate, that knower and the known, subject and object, that kind of division. And the one who governs the relationship. This is a triad in this world that we feel. I am the knower. That thing, that is what I am trying to know. And then there is the process of knowing. This is the triad that we do. You see, I am reading the book. I am trying to know what is in the book. I am the knower. And the process that goes in the brain. These three things are seen as separate. But when you go deeper into it, then you see that they are not different. They are the expressions of the same one reality. That to know, to that knower, known, and knowledge, this trident, as it were, merges into one one reality. It is like in the movie, you see, there is some action going on. A mountain is there, somebody is climbing on the mountain. So the mountain, the climber, two things, isn't it? And the mountain and the climber and the process of climbing. Three things. Now, what happens is that all three are actually the screen. You come to this knowledge that the mountaineer is also the screen, mountain is also screen, and the process of climbing is also screen. They are not different at all. So, this world, this multiplicity, this running after this knowledge of various different things, it has a meaning in the movie, but that's about it. Beyond that, it has no meaning, no consequence. It comes to an end. Before its movie started, it was screen. After it is over, it is screen. And while the movie was going on, what it was, Charlie? Screen. Exactly. And so, similarly, when you see the creation, I, world, this, that, let me find out what this man is doing. And you go to do that. It is, you find out something. But all this is really the one reality. There is this distinction is all apparent distinction and changing distinction. The distinction is not permanent. It shifts, it changes. It is like the relation between the countries, today it is good, tomorrow it becomes sour, day after tomorrow again it starts smiling and so forth. It is like that our condition of our knowing, that which we know today becomes known and unknown. Both are there. So we know and yet we don't know. The knowledge is in this world is never therefore complete, even about a small little thing. Just think of it that, our Abhijit sets out to find out how this works. Now it goes about a little bit and then, okay, I understood. But then something happens and then again he has to sit and find out why this happened in this way. And then something is known, a lot of it is not known. So this process continues. The universities keep on churning out PhDs. It is new research, a lot of grants, lot of jobs. So the world goes on in this way. The process of the subject, the object, and the subject-object relationship. But when you want to know the reality behind this, then you have to apply a different process of knowledge. Not just reading book and trying to intellectually grasp it, but one has to go a bit deeper. That is the science of meditation and the transcendence. This transcendence is the way by which one comes to see that oneness. Like to see the screen while the movie is on. You have to abstract the pictures and see that which is unchanging in this. So, let us read the translation of this verse. The conscious subject. You can all read the translation aloud. Come on. Subject and the unconscious object, they must. As Brahman, self becomes infinite, universal. Exactly. This is how the transformation takes place. I suggested you read loudly. Actually, even the Sanskrit verse one should have read loudly. Had I been in India, I would have made them recite the Sanskrit verse also loudly. But here it would be a very difficult exercise to pronounce all those unfamiliar words. So, but the English one can read. Reading makes you know hear it again and get a better sense of it, a better conviction about it. That this is what the sages tell, that this what it passes for subject and object, it is really the one reality, and that you do not then have to make it one, but see it as one. Like when you are seeing a friend, well, not that you are seeing just the friend, you are seeing the friend as God. There is the God appearing as friend, and there is this God appearing as chair, and there is this God that is appearing as house. Because it is house just as it is God. It is house in appearance, but it is God in its essence. Like when you are seeing on the screen in the movie a mountain, it is mountain no doubt, but it is screen appearing as mountain. Mm. So everything here is God appearing as this object or that object or that object. In another Upanishad, an analogy is given. Probably at that time there was lot of work, pottery work going on. So this example comes a lot in Upanishads, that there is the clay. Mm, there is a clay there. Now suppose you are walking in front of a pot maker's this and then you see in the courtyard a big heap of clay there. In the evening, after finishing your work, you are walking back again and see that heap has gone. What happened to the heap? You see the potter, hey, I saw the big heap of clay there. What has happened to it? The potter shows, look at those, the pots. That is all these pots. Now, what are these pots? Clay. The clayness has not gone. The heapness has changed into potness. That's all. And the shape has changed, and according to the shape, the name has changed. And they suppose that it is that one part of the clay is made into a cup and another is made into a kettle. Now both are clay, as clay both are same, but one gets the name kettle, another gets the name cup. Both are clay. That clayness is never ever gone, and that is the essence. The potness changes, pot breaks. Like that, those pots were kept out for drying. At night, before those were all dried, rain came, pouring down. Now the potter saw that now those cannot be kept. He again collected them all together, again it became a heap. Again it became a heap. So its clayness is always there, that is unchangeable essence. So let us be aware of it, let us hold on to it, because that is the source of our freedom that we are seeking. That is the source of bliss that we are seeking. That is the source of peace that we are seeking. Without understanding this, without experiencing this, friends, there is no possibility of happiness in this world. There is no possibility of peace in this world, because the pot and the cup, they change, they break, they come in another shape and all that. They, what is substantial, what is existing there is always a clay. It is otherwise, it is just a shape. So it is. There was this a discussion here some years ago, that one Swami from Washington DC gave a retreat about it, and he gave the example of a donut hole. And do you know donut hole? Yeah, donut hole. Can you make a donut hole without making donut? How to make a hole, you know? There is no way making a hole, you say. You make something and then in that you see the hole. There is no making of hole as such. What, Carol? Do you not seem to, you seem not to agree? Huh? Munchkins, yeah, it is, yeah, that is, yeah, munchkins, yes. So, for eating you have those munchkins, but they are taken out from some that fried whole thing, you take it out. That is how you have a hole in the donut. But you cannot make just the hole. This is a very important concept. That this universe, these names and forms, they are just like the holes. It is the gap between them. What is it? A hole. Like the gap between I and the chair here in front of me. It's a hole. It's a gap. So there is actually nothing. The space, the truth is all pervading. There is nothing to separate it from A and B as such. It is everything that you see is the existence itself appearing in this illusory form. These forms are illusory. This is something that we have to imprint on our minds to develop that detachment from it. Otherwise we get attached to it, and this knowledge of the reality remains only as an intellectual thing. It does not come into our awareness. So to develop the detachment from these names and forms, we have to see that they are illusory, they are not real, they are temporary. So don't try to hold on to them. Once you see that they are temporary, you don't get attached to it. It is our attachment becomes possible only because of a subtle awareness of that being permanent. It is permanent. When you know actually it is temporary, you never get attached to it. It is like your seat in the plane. You know that it is your seat, you may be allocated that seat number, but you know it is temporary. So after for 2 hours or whatever, so Even though you sit on it, call it my seat, you are never attached to it. You are very happy, eager. As soon as the that plane lands, you are eager to get rid of it, and you don't shed a tear about it. Why? Because you are actually aware that it is temporary, not permanent. But in this world, the various relations that we form, how are those relations, Carol? Changing, temporary, isn't it? They are temporary, they are changing, they are illusory. They appear and disappear. And therefore, when we see them like that, we will get a detachment from that. That is how then we will be able to see the truth. And this is the process by which we have to make ourselves prepared to get this. This will come more in more details in the second chapter. But here a technique is being shown that to be aware of how to decide what is the permanent, what is not impermanent, by learning, training ourselves to observe. That is the next verse. Ksharam pradhanam amritaksharam harah क्षरात्मानौ ईशते देव एकः तस्याभिध्यानात् योजनात् तत्त्वभावात् भूयश्चान्ते विश्वमाया निवृत्ति. So, please let us all read. Matter is perishable, but God is imperishable and immortal. He, the only God over the perishable matter and individual souls, by meditating on Him, with Him, and by becoming one with Him, there is cessation of all illusion in the end. That is how the process is. That matter is perishable. Matter in the sense of names and forms. It is perishable. That which does not matter. That is what is meant here by matter. That which does not matter, it is perishable. It comes, it goes. It has no real standing as such at all. And the God is imperishable. That is a very important thing that we had alluded to many times. That look, if everything is changing and perishable, how do we identify things that this is the same one? And we separate it from something that hasn't changed. It is Saradananda Swami used to tell a story that a man, he was under influence and so went to a sweetmeat shop and then bought some sweets and then gave money. This sweetmeat shop said, well, I don't have change. Just now I am opening the shop, so I don't have any change. But in an hour or so the customers will come, I will get it. So come within an hour, I will give you back your money. And this man said, okay, fine, no problem. On the way he drank a little more, and then people saw a fight going on in a barber's shop nearby. He went into the barber's shop and started fighting, hey, give my money. He said, what money? Well, you see, I gave you so much money, I bought only this, and you promised that you will give me back the change. Where is it? Give me. Barber was puzzled. Well, why you are quarreling? It is I did. You didn't give me any money. How do you know who am I? So that this man said, no, no. I am sure it is you who changed. Although you have changed your appearance, you are that same fellow. You have put on a different appearance now, different shirt, a different dress. You have another hair. You did your hair differently, but you can't cheat me because I was noticing the street dogs. A dog that was sitting on the right in front of the shop. I marked that dog. The shop that is just across that dog. So that is, see, that dog is sitting there. And so this is the shop. Now the dog kept on moving from here and there, you see. So it cannot identify the shop. There has to be something that does not change, that becomes the sign for identification. Otherwise, if the changing is only there, then we have no way to identify. How do we identify people or things or places? That it is because in and through all that changes, there is something that does not change. It is that existence cannot be denied, because without that our life is impossible. Our life is very much dependent on the awareness of this something that does not change. That is why the commitments become possible. That is why you trust people that, okay, this fellow said like that, and then you hold people responsible also for that. It is how it is all possible, because in and through everything that changes, there is something that cannot be pinpointed, though. That is there. That is the source of life. That is the truth. It is so, and that is what is called here the God, that which governs the changing. It is the reflection of that divine in something that is changing. So that is what makes these changes find an illumination. It is like the sun reflected in a pond. The waters are changing, but the sun does not change according to the water actually. So that is how there is a reflection of divine in everything, which makes us feel thatness of it. Otherwise, what is that? Everything is in flux. How do you know that that is the same Providence River when Roger Williams came there in some 1630 or something like that, and now about 400 years are about to roll over, and then the same river, what is same about it? If you cannot show what is same there, the waters are always running. We had so many thousands of water fires probably on it. It is the water is always changing. The banks also, they don't look now as they looked at the time of Roger Williams. Complete change. In fact, in my stay here for a very short time, just 17 years, I have seen the appearance of those banks have undergone, although it is a river, the banks have undergone a sea of change. So much of change, everything has changed. And yet we say that's the same river. What is the same? You cannot show exactly what is the same, but there is that which is same. That has to be caught. And for that we need to transcend, learn to transcend the name and form. And then you realize that it is the everything, all of that is governed by that one reality, Ekadeva, that is governing everything. And meditation on that, by meditating on Him, by becoming united with Him. And meditation is a gradual process of uniting. Like you imagine an ideal and then think about that ideal, connect your mind, tie your mind with it. Sri Ramakrishna used to give that analogy, very beautiful this example, that think of your God as in a very beautiful form and very delicate form. Then tie your mind with that, with the feet of that Lord, with a silken thread. Silken thread because Sri Ramakrishna explains, because it should not hurt the feet of your beloved God. So, soft silken thread. With that you have tied your mind to the feet of the Lord. And thus you have become now united, connected. Connected is a kind of becoming one. Like there is the knife and its handle. Now you put together the blade and the handle. Now you put them together, connect them. Now they are one, getting called knife. So there is the blade, there is the handle. Put them together. There are the at the top, and there are the legs, and then you put them together like this, and then you call it a table. United, you becoming connected is a step towards seeing that oneness. That is why the two things are said, and by becoming one with it. Gradually you feel more and more oneness with it. It's a process, friends. Gradually that separateness completely drops off. So this is how of this whole illusion of this universe is evaporated. It is all gone. It will be what happens to the sun that was being reflected in that pond. When the pond dries up, where does that sun goes? Where does that sun go? What, Vishwanath, where will that sun go? It's a good thing to think about. What happened to the sun that was being seen there? The water evaporated, I know. It went, it became vapor, gone. But then that sun that I was seeing there, what happened to it? What, Naomi? What happened to that sun? Gone. How can things just be gone? That is, you are right. I mean, you are right. But the answer you get is by looking up. Sun is there. It never was there. It appeared there. Was it there any time, Abhijit? It never was there. It just appeared there. Could you take it out from water and show to somebody, hey, here it is? It never was there. That is why it is called Vishwamaya Nivritti. This whole appearance just dissolves. Mm. It is a very important process that one has to undergo through. It is a very steadily one has to apply the force of meditation. Let us not go by those terrible shortcuts that some people try to take some drug or something, and then you go in a different consciousness. That is not liberation, that is not attaining this state, that is in fact debilitating yourself further. It is these two things have to be completely separated. Otherwise, there has been, especially in America, a lot of confusion about this. That meditation, it's a long process and difficult, and then my mind is not, I am not probably made for meditation, you conclude. And then, but if I take that some substance, and then there is that is I go in a trance. No, it is not a trance. There is no transcendence. It is you actually fall down from even the state of your regular awareness. It is altered awareness, but worse, a lower awareness, further more damaging, further more binding. So that is not the way to go about, but transform your awareness. What is the test? After having that hallucinating experience of that some substance, induced by the substance, when that is over, you are left high and dry as you were. Nothing has changed. But whereas this meditational process brings illumination, the bliss, and even when you are not meditating, that knowledge remains with you. Now you gradually learn to see everything as, even when it is you are seeing it, everything is just a manifestation of God. Look at how Sri Ramakrishna used to see these things. We are studying that every Tuesday, that how were Sri Ramakrishna's visions about this, that he would see everybody and very clearly, and yet he never confused one person with another person. All is same. So whatever is horse is also a dog. No, the horse is a horse. Dog is dog. Narendra is Narendra. Rakhal is Rakhal. Hriday is Hriday. Exactly. And no confusion about it. As his biographer Swami Sardananda describes, in his room, each and everything was kept so neatly and in exact place. Everything has its place. Everything, is so well organized and arranged. And yet, he saw all as one Brahman, one divine existence. So this is how the awareness needs to be cultivated, the awareness of the screen behind this movie. It is, that is, next verse makes it more clear that it is, What happens with that? Jnatva devam sarvapashapahane kshinai kleshai janma mrityu prahani tasya tritiyam deha bhede vishvaishwaryam kevala aptakamaha. That with the knowledge of God, all fetters fall off. With the waning of ignorance, birth and death cease. Going beyond the consciousness of the body, by meditating on Him, one reaches the third state, that is the universal lordship. All that person's, his or her desires are satisfied, and he becomes one without a second. So that is how the result of this is. This is how you realize the truth. So we can see that how one changes with the knowledge of God. All fetters fall off. All fetters. You are not bound anything by anything at all. You see the God in everything. You realize that there is nothing that can bound you, nothing that can bind you. Impossible for you to get bound. You are ever free. There is no birth and death for you. It is only just as when you see that you are not a pot but clay. Your clayness, now that remains. That has no bondage. The pot has the bondage of a shape, but the clay has no particular shape as such. You are not bound by anything. You are not bound by time, space, causation. It is you become perfectly free, and there are no desires left. What are the desires that we have? If you analyze the desires that we have, they are the desires to get happiness from an object, which never becomes successful, because that object didn't have any extra happiness than what you have. It is searching in the wrong place. You will never get happiness by grabbing an object. Let us remember that. It is this is how all fetters fall, and you reach the state of absolute happiness. And so the desires are not there. Just compare it with our running after objects for fulfillment of desires. Even if we get one object that we were looking for, the desire goes now to another object. So the mind leaves the object that is in the hand and goes to another object. And then when the body grabs that object, the mind leaves that object, goes after another object. Look at the psychology of it, how these objects change for us, because there is no happiness in any of them. By realizing this truth, the all these desires cease, because you have attained everything. Apta kama, the Sanskrit word, means that. Apta means fulfillment, kama means desires. All desires come to fulfillment. So we shall continue the study of it. But there is another verse that I wanted to take up today, but there is no time. So we shall postpone that study till next Friday. Let us meditate for 30 seconds, and then in case if you have some question, we can take it up. Yes, please. Okay, Carol. Possibly be? Oh, well, that is an example, an analogy in that relation. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is if you refuse the identity of matter, that is fine. It is you are not matter. Tell it to yourself. You are not matter. You are not body. You are not mind. Because body is matter. Mm. Mind is also matter. It is. What is your idea? What is body? Okay, that is matter. Concept is a matter. It is a thought. It is an idea. That is matter. No, it is destructible. Yeah, but thought also is equally destructible. That it changes. That is why that one has to transcend that to come to the true substance behind all these appearances, that which does not change. And, well, if you don't want to start out with that, you start out with something else. You are too agitated right now. Yeah. uh, it is. Yes, Naomi, you had some question? Exactly, that is very correct. That it goes away, and that God alone remains. And then you lose attachment for that which goes away. That is very important. To lose attachment for name and form, so that you can grasp the reality that does not go away. And this is the source of peace in life. Otherwise, life is full of agitation and misery and bondage. It is, if you like misery, bondage, then that is fine. Uh, if you don't want bondage, if you do not want this kind of dissatisfaction, then you have to go beyond the appearances and hold on to the reality. If you don't feel the need of it, then that's about it. You don't feel it necessary. Be happy with then whatever you have. Try. Yes, you were raising hand. Huh? Please, I am not able to. Uh, uh. It is. It is. Yes. So that desire is very good. That is the only desire that should be cherished. That is. uh, That is the only desired. They are identical, you know. The desire to realize God is synonymous to become the desire to become free. Uh, that is how Jesus says, you know, do you remember? Know the truth, and truth shall liberate you. Exactly. Hmm? Yes, Charlie.
You suggested a number of things like having yearning for God, you've seen everything as illusory, and having the force of meditation steadily. But what control do we have over being able to do these things?
Whatever control you have, exercise that. That is the only answer to it. It is because you know, we have the ego, we have the idea of having some control. And so people say those things are under control. It is you have the idea of control on the basis of which you say that today I plan to go to Vedanta Society. Mm, that it is who controls, you don't. Yes, certainly. Even if you want, you may not be able to go, that is another thing. But whatever control that you feel you have, let that control be turned towards this. And then you will see you get more and more control because you get connected with the controlling power. And we were discussing that on this last Tuesday, that how could Sri Ramakrishna control so many things that we don't have any control over? That is because he was in union with the controlling power. So this is how one will get more and more control. One can see these things as one grows spiritually. You can experience these things. Yes, whether people know it or not, Upanishads form the basis of all religious rituals, gods and goddesses, the worships, everything has the philosophy of Vedanta as the basis. Vedanta basically means Upanishads. Yeah. Uh, yeah. You will lose those things because they never were there. The illusion goes away. When you wake up from the dream, you lose all those things. You were about to eat a nice ice cream in dream and you woke up. Now what happened, Carol, to her eating ice cream? Huh? She didn't? Do, correct, yeah, exactly. She didn't savor it in dream. But now you see that it was after all a dream. So, yeah, it is every happy dream, being a dream, it ends, you see. So, this dream also ends. This is a dream, no, nothing different from that. It is, so it ends. So nothing is lost though. In the just as in the you lost the ice cream in the dream, but when you wake up, you know you have not lost anything per se. It is, yeah. So it is similarly, even if this dream breaks up, gone, you wake up to the truth, nothing is really lost. Yes, Girish. Yeah, third state, exactly. That third state is that the kshara, akshar means that which changes and that which does not change. Now, the unchanging that you see in the midst of the changes, that also is governed by the absolute unchanging, which is not connected with anything that is changing. That is this third state where you now are not at all connected with that which is changing. Like to give you an example, that the pond and the sun reflected in the pond and the real sun, these three things. So the real sun, it never fell in the pond. It is not that it is in this wintry condition, the sun fell in the pond. Will it be feeling cold, Tommy? No, it never fell in the pond. It is always in the skies. So you realize this truth, and then all the illusory appearances, they just vanish from your awareness, from your life. Yes, read it out, please. I think there is a microphone there, isn't it? You use that microphone so that I can hear.
Okay. A friend did some drugs with a healing shaman and it revealed hidden repressed youth trauma and let him work through to release that karma. In certain cases, with a qualified healer, can't drugs help?
And no, it is again a big trap. That kind of that is how people fell into that release of karma through drugs. No, you do not get any release from karma. One more karma gets added, that is taking the drug. So that becomes another bondage in one's life. It is those processes are very, very dangerous processes. There is no scriptural basis to them. There is no the saints have never approved of it, and even the experience that one has is not at all approving those things. It is, so that is my answer to it. I don't know whether it is satisfactory or not.
What is soma?
Huh?
Soma?
Soma is, that is that word comes in Vedas, Soma, which has many different connotations depending on the context. The Soma means the bliss that you experience here. That is the Soma. That is the transcendental meaning to it. Then there is people take out the essence or juice from some plant. That is also like you take. I don't know how it is it's whether it is a sap like thing that you get the what is it, maple syrup or some such thing. It is, there is a plant that is called soma. Whether it exists now or it existed only in that time, we don't know. But it is by taking it, it is said that you get intoxicated. But the word intoxication may mean, it is a translation, and the Vedic Sanskrit is very different. So the meaning is probably a different type of intoxication, like Sri Ramakrishna said about that I have drunk the wine of the name of Kali, and I am now intoxicated by that. That is my intoxication is like that. He would say that it is, he would sing that song of Ram Prasad, that I have not drunk any wine, I have just taken the wine of the name of the Divine Mother. So that is how this Soma might be. Now that this is a fertile field for Indologists, so called, to explore. That's all. Yes, please. Yeah, I don't have. And Sri Ramakrishna, that used to be the custom those days. He was following. Not that he was enjoying the smoke as such, no. He did not get enjoyment from any object as such, you see. Hmm. I am, I am pretty sure. And because, how do you know I am pretty sure? There is, huh? I know very well. It is the reason is because when all those things are not there, still his happiness did not diminish. And that is the test, that it was not coming from that. Mm. That is the why I said I know. Okay, so hey, let us conclude. It is 8:45. Yeah, let us conclude with the closing prayers. Hmm? Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.